Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. Here to talk Warrior Volleyball is Joe Getson, and thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
Let's get the negative out of the way first, and let's talk about Wayne State on Friday. Your first home loss of the season. It seems like it was a weird match because didn't play very well in the first set. Came back in the second set, looked more like your usual selves, and then kind of regressed after that. Is that about accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. Wayne State is a very good team, obviously ranked, and they were on a mission a little bit. They played a solid first game. We kind of looked around a little bit and we're figuring it out. By the second set, we did figure it out, and we put the pressure back on them, and they cracked a little bit. We ended up with that set. But in this league, you have to continually find ways to put that pressure on. So they adjusted a little bit, and unfortunately, we just didn't have a couple of our kids playing at the top of their game, and that's the difference.
Yeah, it said season high 30 hitting errors. Is there anything you can point to that to say, well, we need to fix that, or is it just kind of one of those things playing another team that's ranked like you are?
Well, Wayne State does play some really good defense, and what happens when you tend to play those teams is you try too hard. They'll dig you, and that they come back at you, so you feel like you have to do more. And then they're really good at just letting you do more and make an error, and then you press a little bit harder, and we just weren't patient enough. And that's just a little bit of immaturity in the team. They'll have some more reps in that and understand that going forward. And, I think they rebounded really well on Saturday's match, and, we learned from it.
There were still some good individual performances. It says Megan Flom had 18 kills, so good for her. She was the Player of the Week last week in the NSIC.
And the National Player of the Week.
National Player of the Week,
So,
right?
no, and she's playing very well. I mean, it's going to be hard to slow Megan down. So that does open up some things for us down the road, and, if we can keep her playing at that level, it's going to look really good.
All right, and then Bree Maloney, 44 assists, Becca Pagel, 16 digs, so those were good things.
Yeah,
as well.
good numbers. The team itself, there was some bright spots in it. We just have to have consistency. It's a very team-orientated sport. You have one off, and it's hard to overcome that.
All right, so what happens then after that? Kind of get a fly on the wall in your coaching style. Do you say anything to the team after a loss like that, or no matter what?
We try not to, just because everyone has some emotions going on, and no one likes to lose, and I'm probably the worst loser there is. So, we said a little bit, but we always regroup the next morning, and after a match, we always go into the room and we go, okay, what did we do well? What did we want to improve upon, and what are we taking forward? And along with that, then we had to play Augustana, a team that was receiving votes nationally, and take Concordia to 5 and that sort of thing. So a very solid team, and you got to be ready to play. So we talked a little bit about what transpired, and how are we going to respond to it. And it's not failure unless you don't respond. And thankfully the team came back out on Saturday with a different mindset. We lost the first set, I believe, but after that, it was all us, and we kind of started to dominate like we know we can, and it would have been really easy just to fall into that same pattern. And so it was really good. Augustana played really well, the best they've probably played all year, according to the coach. So, that we weathered that and still came back against them makes a huge difference. And, we had some great performances from some kids that the night before struggled. They put it together and made a big difference.
Well, that's kind of why I asked what you do on Friday going into Saturday, because obviously Saturday was maybe a little bit bigger because it was homecoming, and I think the time was changed because football wasn't able to play on Saturday.
They made some adjustments because of the football game having to move their game, and they wanted to take advantage of the game day experience and that sort of thing. So Augustana was kind enough to move up the match time, agree to move up the match time, and got to play at 2, and the band was there, and that's the first time we've had a band there. And I think we had a record-setting crowd for us, almost 1,000 people. So it was a great atmosphere, and that fired us up and fired Augie up, and it was some really good volleyball.
All right, our guest today is Paige Christopher, and she had a very good game. We'll have you talk about her while she's kind of sitting waiting to come on the show. What did you think about her performance against Augustana?
Well, we know what Paige is capable of doing, and we see it every day in our practice gym, and we have a hard time slowing her down in our practice gym. So I know other teams are going to struggle with it. On Friday she, struggled a little bit, and that's part of a growth process, and that happens. But the best part is on Saturday she responded and she came out on fire. I think she hit 469, which is some unbelievable numbers for an outside hitter, and made a huge difference for us.
The final game, you won 15-9, come out with a 10-3 lead, and it says 10 kills in the first 12 swings. That sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it was, and we talk about that in practice, that situation in practice. So it's nothing new to us, and it's nice to see him execute that, and it makes a huge difference.
All right, now a big week coming up for you here. We're taping on Tuesday, so we're taping the day that you play Concordia, which is going to be a big one. They're number 5 in the nation right now. Tell me a little bit about how you match up with Concordia first.
If you look at the stats, we're almost identical teams. We're within a couple points in each statistical category, it seems. They're a very good team. What Concordia has going for them is 11 national championships, and those kids think they're going to get their 12th championship. And it doesn't matter how good they are or how bad they are playing, they believe, and that belief is always, it's a powerful drug. That confidence that they play with is always really good. But statistics are going to kind of just show you where they fall. I think we match up fine with them. I don't think there's anyone in the league that you go, oh, we can't handle that. And we've got our own problems that they've got to handle. You know what I mean? They've got to slow down Megan. Paige is playing like she did on Saturday. It's going to be tough to stop her. So we've got our own set of problems that teams have to focus on. And, for the first time, Brady called me up and said, hey, we need a little practice time on Tuesday. And in my 6 years, he's never done that. So I think he's taking us pretty serious.
Oh, very good. And then I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but then you have games on the weekend as well, Friday and Saturday, and they're on the road, Northern and Minnesota State Moorhead.
Well, we'll leave on Thursday night and head up to Sioux Falls, so we don't have to make that long drive to beautiful Aberdeen in late October. You can't find a hotel in Aberdeen, so we'll stay in Sioux Falls. I guess the pheasant hunters take over that time of year. And Northern is one of the top teams. There's 3 7-1 teams, and we get to play 2 of them this week. So they're solid. On paper, they were picked to win the league coming into it. So once again, another good matchup. Their numbers are definitely higher. They're playing at a little bit higher pace, but I don't think that they're used to what we bring to the floor either.
All right, sounds good. We're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Paige Christopher will join us right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
Now's the time to unleash the internet. With HBC, you can get internet speeds up to 1 gig. It's the speed you need for the ultimate internet experience. Connect all of your devices, including tablets, game consoles, smartphones, computers, smart speakers, and more. Upload and share photos and videos instantly. Stream HD movies in a flash. And experience online gaming like never before. Call HBC today at 888-474-9995 to get started.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. Paige Christopher is here. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks.
Now, I want to go back to your high school days first and talk a little bit, and in fact, get away from volleyball and talk to you about track and field. Because in doing research about you, I found something very interesting. Your senior year, you were going to do a long jump, and you had never done long jump in competition before.
Never.
And it's the Dubuque Girls High School Indoor Classic. And I think the day of the meet, you're told you have to do this. And you go out and do it, and you set a meet record.
Yeah.
Tell me about that and
I
how
was
that
not
happened.
expecting that. I don't know. Long jump was always something in high school that I really wanted to try, but since I was so invested in hurdles, I just never had gotten around to it. But my senior year, my coach finally said, like, now we have the opportunity to try this. And I was pretty nervous going into that meet actually, and told them to scratch me off of the event. But no, it was actually a lot of fun. All you have to do is run and jump, and I can jump, so it was actually pretty easy. So it just went from there, and then I ended up going to state also and placing, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, that was exciting.
Oh, that's awesome. And from what I read, you were just worried you weren't going to scratch or you weren't going to foul on the jump.
Yeah,
And-
I was just worried about not scratching. That's the only thing I was worried about.
Okay, and you also played volleyball, obviously, in high school. So how did you decide that volleyball was what you were going to pursue in college?
I was really passionate about both of them, but I've always liked volleyball just a little bit more. I really like just the team aspect of it, like just 6 players coming together to make one thing happen. So I don't know. I've always just liked volleyball a little bit more than I have track. So.
All right, and Coach Getson, you're probably happy that she's chosen volleyball. What did you see in her that made you want to bring her to Winona State?
Well, I actually found Paige at the Iowa Regional Tournament, and she was a sophomore, I think, playing up on an 18-year-old
Yeah.
team, and she was holding her own. And I was like, oh, that kid's probably signed already. And only to find out she was just finishing her sophomore year. So I was just excited that she wasn't signed and started pursuing her. She has a knack to score. I saw her get roofed by a kid that's now playing at Iowa State and didn't phase Paige at all. She came back up and tooled the kid the next 3 shots, and then also I think roughed the kid back. So, and that was all as a young player that didn't have a lot of experience. So I knew she was something special.
All right, and then how did you choose Winona State then?
When I had come up here a few times actually, but I came to watch a match in the fall, and I went on tour that day too. But I just really like the campus a lot. I like the size of it. I like the area that it's in, and especially because I'm not from a big town anyway, it was just very similar. And I really liked the volleyball team also. I liked the way they competed. I liked the relationships that they had, like not only with each other, but with the staff also. So.
All right, you're just a sophomore, but you had maybe your biggest game of your collegiate career against
I did.
Augustana. Tell me about that and what that was like.
Yeah, that game was really exciting, especially after Friday. Having a loss and not competing the way I wanted to, I just knew that I had to regroup and do what I know how to do, basically. And there were a lot of people there. I mean, the band, it was homecoming, so I mean, the adrenaline was just there. And no, the environment was really, it was very exciting to play in that gym. And I don't know, I was just on that night, I guess.
Yes.
So it was really exciting.
Well, 19 kills overall and 7 in set 2. What do you remember specifically about set 2 that kind of propelled you?
I don't know if I remember anything specifically. I just knew I wanted to win. Like, I know my team wanted to as well, but I was really hungry to just take it to them. Like, they were in our gym, and no, we wanted to win, so, yeah.
All right, as we said, difficult week this week. What do you guys have to do to be successful this week?
I think in order for us to be successful, we just need to stay consistent in the energy that we bring to the court. And when things are going our way, I mean, things are great, like of course they would be, but when they're not, I think it's just a matter of us just regrouping and saying, okay, like this is what we need to do, and actually executing that. Because I don't think there's anyone in the conference that we can't compete with. So this week should just be really exciting and full of good volleyballs.
All right, well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk women's track and field. That's coming up right after this.
Perfect.
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 Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-60.
Every Monday, I'm doing it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're doing it.
I love this.
New towns.
I'm doing this.
I'd do 4 on it. I'll do 5.
All right, we're doing it. Let's just get crazy and do it.
That was good.
New picks.
We doing it?
I think we're doing it.
Whoa! Doing it? All right, we're doing it.
All right.
New deals.
I would do like 28 on it.
I think that's fair.
Are we doing that?
We're doing it.
American Pickers. We're doing it. Mondays at 9.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. Mason Rubarchuk joins us from the track and field team, and you're also involved in cross country. And in fact, you know, the thing about what you do is that this may be the most complicated, easy sport, I shouldn't say easy, complicated, simple sport that there is at Winona State, because there are so many different facets of what goes into your sport. And as you were saying kind of off camera to us, you know, it's whoever does something the fastest or the longest or whatever. But cross country kind of feeds into indoor track and field, and then there's outdoor track and field, and all the different events that go on in that. Can you summarize what all of that is?
Sure. In the outdoor season, track and field has 21 events. A lot of people, their knowledge of track and field comes from the Olympics, so what you see there. But yeah, for sure, all of the runners on the cross-country team in the fall are also on our indoor and outdoor track and field team, as our distance runners. And then, so when their season ends sometime in November or 1st of December, they transition into the track and field season. And then we've got our indoor season. I don't know if you want to talk about schedule, but we start first weekend in December is when indoor starts, and then we're back again in January after winter break, and then all of February is indoor. January and February is indoor season, and then indoor nationals is middle of March, and then we transition to outdoor season maybe earlier than we should, as cold as it is around
right.
here, but around March 31st. Outdoor starts as far as meets go, and that goes through the end of the academic year, and then outdoor nationals is always Memorial Day weekend.
All right.
So it is truly year-round.
And I know you kind of wanted to clear up that it's not just that period in December and January, and then the nice weather towards the end of the year that you're actually involved in things. It's kind of year-round, and there's a lot of different things that go on for your season.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, everybody's lifting in the summer on their own time, and then we come back in the fall when school starts, and we get to start training right away. Mm-hmm. So we get 13 weeks to train before our first meet. And that's when we get a lot of work done. When the cross-country team is in their competitive season, everybody else that's not on cross-country, that's the jumpers and the sprinters and hurdlers and throwers and all of that, we get those 13 weeks to train in the fall.
All right, and as you said, everybody that's on cross-country then runs track, but not everybody that's in track runs cross-country. Yep. So is there an advantage to running cross-country to get into indoor track season?
It just depends on what events you are. Mm-hmm. If you're a sprinter, there's certainly no advantage to doing all the aerobic work that's involved in a cross-country season. But certainly as a distance runner, you're training all year round, so being able to be in that competitive season in the fall for cross-country for sure is an advantage when it comes to indoor and outdoor track.
All right, let's try to recap last season just a little bit, because it was a very interesting and very successful season for you. You were saying that in the indoor season, you sent more people to nationals than you ever had before. Yep.
It was an exciting year. We had, I think it was 9 individuals, but most number of people we've ever taken to nationals. We've never had a miler at the indoor national meet since we've been Division II. We've never had a distance medley relay at the national meet. The distance medley relay was All-Americans, so that was certainly a first. 4x4 was All-Americans. Again, I think that was the second time we've had 4x4 All-Americans, but maybe the 5th time we've been to nationals with an indoor 4x4. So great group there. And then outdoor, the 4x4 went for the first time in the outdoor championships. So that was pretty exciting to have our first ever outdoor 4x4 relay All-Americans.
And the indoor 4x4 was first team All-American, so
correct.
Even better than that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And then all of this is happening while Division II track and field is getting better and better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. The time that the ladies ran this last March to get 7th in the country would have actually won the national meet 5 years prior, the last time we were All-Americans. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, very good. Can you talk about maybe some of the team members that you have? I know that there's a lot of different stories and a lot of people from a lot of different places.
Yeah. One fun story that was really neat for us as a team and as well as the family was Brittany Shavenk, who was a 5th-year senior captain last year. She redshirted a year to get a second degree, and also knowing that that would mean she would get to be teammates with her sister, who was 4 years younger. So when Brittany was a senior in high school, Brooklyn was in 8th grade, so they were never teammates. Both very good quarter milers. And so being that last year was Brooklyn's freshman year, they got to be teammates for the first time, got to hand off to each other on a relay, and be All-Americans together. So that was fun, both for them and us as a team, and certainly their parents, to be able to come to meets and see their two daughters run together. So that was pretty neat. And then we had, I think, our first international student that I can recall, Shireen Valboy from Malaysia. So to be on the team last year and to be an All-American, that was pretty fun to have her part of the team too.
All right, how did you get her on the team?
Long story, but someone who was on our men's team back in the 90s named Waihan Liu. He and I have been acquainted for probably as long as I've been in Winona. And he was family friends with Shireen's parents all the way back to high school. And both Shireen wanted to come to school here in the United States, as well as her parents wanted her to come here. And Waihan was the connection, and so here she is.
All right, very good. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming. You're going to be, as you said, starting out the indoor season first. What are some things that you're doing with your athletes between now and then to get ready for the season?
I definitely don't have enough time in the segment that we're doing right now to talk about that, but if I could summarize, a lot of the time we get in the fall is spent a lot of technical aspects that people might not realize goes into track and field, just block starts and hurdle work and long jump and just all of that technical stuff that often you don't have time for, certainly in a high school season, but definitely in the springtime when there's meets every weekend and things like that. So a lot of technical stuff, and then just a lot of the hard work stuff, the stuff that you're breathing hard and sweating and just getting a lot of that in, and certainly lifting, getting in the weight room and just getting to be more explosive, powerful athletes. So that's probably our 3 kind of keys to the fall season.
All right, and you were saying that a lot of people don't even know that there is an indoor track team at Winona State because there's no indoor track on campus at Winona State. Does that put you at any kind of disadvantage? How do you work around that?
Well, the great thing is we've got a great relationship with St. Mary's, and we do train up there on their indoor track every year. So although Winona State doesn't own our own indoor track, we do have a place to train and get everything done that we need to get done to be successful.
And I guess that's kind of the same too with outdoor, because Paul Giel Field is where the outdoor track is.
Absolutely, yep. So even though we don't have an outdoor track that we own on campus, sharing Paul Giel with the high school, it works out really well. Both St. Mary's and the high school team practice later in the day than we do, so we're there earlier in the afternoon, and everybody gets their own time on the track, and it works out really well.
All right, well, very good. We're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. When we come back, Callie Harris will join us right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
From the producers of Live PD.
Sheriff's Department Search Warrant!
A new series follows the search for the country's most wanted fugitives with host Tom Morris Jr.
Okay, Live PD Nation, it's time to ride.
Live PD Nation, you've helped catch 20 fugitives.
Keep your hands in the air!
But the search...
All right, fellas, nice and easy. Let's do it right now.
...is just getting started.
Police!
Live PD Wanted, Thursdays at 10 on A&E.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. Callie Harris joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, you're a junior here at Winona State, but we want to go back to your high school days to find out a little bit more about you. You went to Coon Rapids High School, and you also played some volleyball and some basketball. But when did track kind of be the main sport, the one that you wanted to pursue going forward?
Well, volleyball and track were always both my favorite. Basketball, I kind of started really late. I started when I was in 6th grade, so it was never really like one of those super young sports I've done. But volleyball and track, like I said, were always my favorite. And my sister actually was in track all, since she was younger. So I kind of followed in her footsteps and started track in 8th grade with the high school. So after that, I kind of just fell in love with it.
All right. You still have 3 school records at Coon Rapids in the 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, and the 4x400 relay. And then you were at state a couple of times. Is there one thing that kind of stands out in your high school career that you remember that you're most proud of?
I really liked my freshman year, my sister's senior year. We were on the 4x4 team together, and that was just, being a freshman at a state meet, it was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life, but it was a really cool experience to be able to run with her.
Okay, very good. And for you, what are some of the things that you saw from Callie that made you want to bring her here to Winona State?
That's simple. She's fast and she's a hurdler. That's an easy one.
Yeah, you're biased.
Yeah.
Is it rare to find hurdlers or fast hurdlers?
No, it just, we're looking for someone who can run a fast 400 meters and can hurdle. We can teach you to hurdle better, or teach you to hurdle, period. But yeah, and obviously just she's always been a leader. Just a great personality and a leader from the time you meet her. So all that stuff comes together.
All right. So for you, how did hurdling get into the mix? How did you decide that was going to be one of the events that you wanted to do?
Well, you show up to track on the first day of 6th grade, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do? And then I thought, well, my sister hurdles, so maybe I'll try hurdling. So it was hurdling and long jump, and I wasn't very good at long jump, so we stuck with hurdling. And then, like I said, when I got to 8th grade, I went to the high school and just kept doing that. So.
Okay. How did you find your way here to Winona State? Did you know anything about the school before you kind of got interest from here?
No, I knew a couple of my friends were going here, but that wasn't like a huge factor. I knew I wanted to be somewhere near home, which is 2.5 hours away from home here, and then I knew it was, I wanted to do something in education, and I really liked the campus and the scenery, so it just kind of all factored in.
Okay, and now at the end of your sophomore season, now beginning of junior season, you were named captain of the team. What was your reaction to being named captain?
It was a really big honor. I love our team dynamic, and my biggest goal was to carry that out, similar to the past years, and so it was really cool. I'm close with all the girls, and it was a cool, acceptance to be able to lead them for the next coming years.
All right. Now, as we mentioned in the coaches segment, during the indoor season, you were part of the 4x400 relay that garnered first team All-American honors. What's that like to be an All-American? What was your reaction to getting that?
Well, it was just a really cool experience. You never think I'm coming on, to high school, I'm coming from high school to college track, and it's just we're just going to see where this goes. And then I, all of a sudden, second year, get that cool spot on the 4x4 team, and we get to go to nationals, and that's just, it was a dream come true.
All right, last question then. You have a little bit of time before your season starts, but what have you done at the end of last year to this year to kind of get ready for this season? What are some of the maybe any improvements or anything that you worked on during the off season?
I'd say taking lifting in the summer more seriously, because, if you slack off a couple days a week, it's going to add up eventually. So I'd say just taking those off-season things more seriously, and also what you eat, what you put into your body, like your diet, that really affects it too. Even if you have a sweet tooth or salty tooth, you have to consider those other things that you.
So what do you have to stay away from?
Brownies.
Very good. And then anything that you need to do to be successful this season then? Is there anything that you're planning to do for your first meet coming up?
Well, every day in practice, just show up and ready to work, and attitude is everything too. So, on the harder days where there's more cardio or a harder workout that you're nervous about, you just got to show up and, do your best and help others in the team do their best too.
All right. Well, thank you for being here today, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us for the Warrior Report here on TV 25. We'll see you next time here on HBC.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-60